Yo, what's going on guys, Playground here, coming at you with another video. Sorry I haven't uploaded in a while, I've just been a little busy, however I should be able to upload a little bit more consistently from now on. This video is actually sort of a start of something I will be doing on this channel. After this guide I will be starting to go through all the maps on Cold War and doing a search guide for each and every one, so stay tuned if you are interested in that. And with that being said, let's crack on with the guide. I'm going to start off with the classes that you may want to use and what I personally think is the best inside of Cold War for search and destroy. Starting off with my main MP5 class. Now bear in mind that I use a special blueprint for the MP5 as it has a better iron sight than the usual MP5. However, starting off with the first attachment, I use the SOCOM Eliminator for the recoil control. As it is an SMG, it is going to be recoily, so that just allows you to be able to control the gun a bit better. Then I use the SFOD Speed Grip, and this is arguably the most important attachment as it allows you to run faster, which is essential for rushing. Next I use the bottom mag as it has the fastest reload out of all the mags, which is very helpful. As for the hand grip, I use the bottom one for the fast ADS, which is taken away from the fast mag. It also allows you to drop shot while you are aiming, which is very useful for rushing and just generally outplaying your opponents. And finally I use the no stock, which gives that extra sprint to fire speed boost. For the secondary I use the Gallo, which is really useful when you hear someone around the corner and you want to get the first shot off. The pellet spread also gives you a huge advantage over other weapons such as the MP5, so if you do hear someone coming around the corner you can just pull out your shotgun and 9 times out of 10 you will be able to get that kill. The first attachment I use for the Gallo is the duckbill choke to give that extra pellet spread, which is very advantageous. Secondly, I use the 21.4 barrel as I feel like it is the best balance between fire rate and effective damage range out of all the barrels. Next I use the SWAT 5mm laser for the hip fire accuracy. You don't need ADS speed as you'll be hip firing with the weapon. Then I use the 9 round tube just because I think the 6 rounds just isn't quite enough, but it also doesn't have that long of a reload as opposed to the 12 round tube. And finally that no stock for that sprint fire speed, which is crucial with shotguns as they tend to shoot a lot slower from sprint compared to any other weapons in the game. For the tactical grenade I always run the smoke as it is extremely useful for rushing and getting behind people. The lethal is personal preference, however I do highly recommend the frag since if you're clever and you know how to throw it and you know how long to hold it for, you can get some really smart plays off. Here are a couple for example. As for the field upgrade, I highly recommend the field mic, especially on hardcore since you can have a look at the map by holding your back button on controller or M on keyboard and mouse to reveal where people are around you. It also makes a noise if someone appears on your map. If one of your teammates dies, you can ask them to keep an eye on your field mic whilst you run around. For the perks on my main class, I usually run flak jacket for protection from grenades and tactical mask for protection from gas mines and stuns. I then use Gearhead and Quartermaster to speed up the field mics and have the ability to store 2 at once, which is quite helpful for having a field mic each round. Next I use Gunko, which is a very crucial perk for rushing as you can hold your grenade or smoke whilst running. It also allows you to switch weapons faster, which is useful if you can hear someone coming around the corner. You can easily pull up your Gallo out ready to shoot. And finally I use Ninja, which makes your footsteps quieter so others can't hear you around you. I also have an alternative class with Danger Close instead of Perk Greed, so I can have 2 smokes, which is useful for some rushes as it is harder to rush on certain maps. I then have an Assault Rifle class if I just want to switch it up a little bit, and I'll quickly take you through the attachments on that. I like to use a Microflex optic as the iron sights on ARs don't tend to be that great, but that's just personal preference. Then, same as the SMG, I run the Sorkum Eliminator for that extra recoil control, as well as the SFOD grip for that sprint speed. Then I use the final handle for the ADS speed, as ADS tends to be quite slow compared to other weapons on the game for the ARs. And finally the buffer tube for that extra sprint to fire speed. As for the fourth class, I use the MP5 and an AR for that long and short range, which is good for larger maps such as Miami and Satellite. With this class, the Lawbreaker also allows you to have 3 perks from the same set, so I run Gung Ho, Ninja and Spycraft. Spycraft is a very slept on perk and not many people tend to know about it since there's other perks in its set which are equally as good. The best features of it is allowing you immunity from field mics and counter spy plays, which are heavily spammed in search, as well as making you not trigger any gas or proximity mines, which people tend to plant on the bombs. For my final class, I swap out Ninja for Ghost, which I can switch to mid-game if I know the enemy team is going to use a spy plane in the next round. For the next part of the video, I'm going to take you through different playstyles and how to use them effectively as a team, starting off with the Rusher. In each team, you want to generally have 2 or 3 rushers who go down each flank of the map. You may need that third rusher if the flank is difficult to execute and you need a little bit of support. This can come into use on maps such as Miami, where the beach is wide and open and the enemy have a clear sight on you. For rushers, I highly recommend you use smoke grenades, which I showed you in the classes before, and Gung Ho, which allows you to hold the tacticals and lethals while running, so you don't have to lose any time and momentum. The whole idea of the rusher is to get behind the enemy as soon as possible, so that time lost when throwing a smoke without Gung Ho can severely impact the whole rush. Every second counts. I also highly recommend using an SMG with the SFOD grip that I showed you before, as it's the fastest weapon in the game to run with at the start of the game, even faster than the knife for some reason, so don't be mistaken thinking that you run faster with the knife, you don't. You then want a couple of your teammates to rush to where most people generally go on the enemy's team, such as on Satellite, where most people generally go to the crash site on the hill as they have a view on the whole map. They want to throw grenades to maybe pick off 1 or 2 each round and then hold down the centre, making sure nobody gets a flank off, as well as being able to support the rushes if needed. For the final 2 people, you want them to stay and camp at the back, staying safe in case others die and they need to step in and clutch up the round. This can be a boring role, however it is important so that your team doesn't get taken down so easily. Perhaps you can switch roles between games to make it fair. Next, I want to mention bomb peaks, which are extremely useful to know about. I will go through bomb peaks on specific maps when I do them. Once I've created some guides for some of the specific maps, I will link the playlist down below in the description to make it easier to get to. Now for the final part of the guide, I'll just end on some map specific tricks that can come into use sometimes.
It's down to you. Make the agency proud. Defend the objectives. Bomb active.
And that's all for this video. I hope this is useful to some of you, and if so, please consider subscribing and leaving a like. It would be very much appreciated. And with that, I'll leave you for the next one.
Defend the objectives.
Field mic won't function there. Field mic deployed. Hostile spotted. Two kills confirmed.
Whoa, that ain't.
Field mic is live.
Switching rally points. Eliminate the objective. We got the bomb.
Deploying smoke. First blood's mine.
Hold the objective. Hostile spy plane established overhead.
Tango.
Wipe out the objectives. Charges acquired. We lost the bomb. We got the bomb.
Popping smoke grenade. She's down.
Spy plane standing by.
Field mic deployed.
Ready to establish danger 3.
Hold fire.
Terminate the objectives. We got the bomb. Enemy care package above. Tally proximity.
Activating field mic.
Sentry turret active.
Hostile expired.
Bomb online.